Hey, it's Kim here and welcome to something hopefully a little bit fun. Last year is the first time I've ever actually kept a record of all the games that I've finished in a year. Normally I just play whatever and then I don't remember what I actually did, which I noticed at the end of 2019 when I was looking back over the games that we played on the channel and I was like, oh my god, was that this year? So I kept track and I finished 39 games last year, which is, I don't know, maybe a little too many, but a lot of them were short and some of them were very short, and I thought it could be fun to think back on them, give them a ranking of how much I liked them, and you can argue with me in the comments if I'm wrong. I've done my rankings from I loved it down to it's over now, as in this was really hard for me to finish. I had to kind of make myself finish it. I haven't done whether I thought the game was a good game or a bad game, because I think you can have bad games that you enjoy and who really cares whether it's good or bad. I think there probably will be spoilers in this video, so I'm going to put chapters and a little spoiler alert so you can click through to the next game so that you don't hear anything you don't want to hear. First up is Hollow Knight, which is immediately difficult because I loved it and then I also really hated it sometimes and struggled to finish it. I feel like I've got a fair bit of history with Hollow Knight as far as how the game has been in my life, because I saw it at the Indie Games Room a long time ago. Let's just say they were developing it for the Wii U when I saw Hollow Knight for the first time. So I think I'm gonna put Hollow Knight in I really liked it. I can't put it in I loved it because there were some points I really didn't love. I'm gonna put it in really liked it because I'd still actually recommend it to people. It's also just very much, I called it quits. I basically went, that's it, I'm doing the boss now and I'm done with Hollow Knight. Although now I'm still like, oh, I should go back and play it, and I'm definitely gonna buy Silk Song. I'm conflicted. Ape Out is the first game that I played on the channel in 2020 and I loved it, and I loved the videos that I made for it. There's just everything about it. It looks great, it sounds great. So that's an easy, I loved it. Raccoon, Thieves in Time. God, did I play that this year? Raccoon's one of my favorites, like the original one is one of my favorite games from the PlayStation 2, and I've 100%ed it so many times because it was one of the few games that I had and I love it and I'll play it over and over and over again, and it was nice to return to Raccoon. I liked the time travel aspect of it. Is it as good as the original? No. And I don't remember it, so I guess I'd say I played it. Like, I liked it, but I liked it. Abzu, I don't remember. That's kind of I can put that straight in, played it. I want to like Abzu more than I remember it. It was at a weird point. I streamed it on the channel. No one was there. I was trying to fundraise for the bushfires that were happening, that were absolutely devastating last year, and I think that tone of it dampens my experience with the game. Marie's Room was a short little, it was an interesting thing. I liked it. It was cool. I played it. Final Fantasy X-2 it's over now. There we go. We got the first low ranking. Final Fantasy X is probably my favorite Final Fantasy game ever. It's the first one I ever played. I have so much attachment to it. X-2 doesn't quite get there. I actually quite like the dress spheres and the garment grids and the way that you kind of have to plan and map them out, but I feel like there was a lot in mini games, and also the fact that you have to 100% the game to get Titus back. Not gonna spend my time doing that. A Short Hike is an easy, I loved it. It made me so happy to play that game. So happy, and I'm always telling other people about it as well because it's a little bit like soup for your heart, I suppose. Spyro 2 is another one. I played it, I barely remember it. I don't think I've liked it as much as the first one, but it is always a nice, colourful, bright world to return to. Portal 2, ooh, where do I want to put that one? It's obviously top end, and it's far and away my most popular series on the channel, which I'm not gonna let influence this decision. There are so many things I liked about it. Like, it had so much more story. I loved the gels, I loved the puzzles, getting stuck on the puzzles, just Portal I enjoy so much. I really like the thinking in it. I think the thing with Portal 2 though, is it controversial if I think Portal 2 is not as good as Portal 1? Please don't hate me for that. That feeling that I'm really happy I played Portal on camera, because I can always go back and go, oh, remember when you felt like that? Because Portal blew my mind. That feeling in here that I had from Portal, not quite the same. So I think I'm gonna say I really liked it, because the thing is, Portal I would have put as loved it. And I don't know, I guess I can love both. Oh, don't hate me. Okami is another game with a lot of history for me. It's one of the ones that I desperately wanted as a kid on PlayStation 2, and I used to go into the game store and just kind of like hold the cover and look at it, and getting a PlayStation 4 release of it and finally being able to play this game, and it was everything I wanted out of it. It looked absolutely gorgeous. The story was cool, it was fine. I liked the combat, I liked the side quests, I liked the fishing, and just really the thing that drew me in when I was a kid was the way that it looked, and just seeing that and that inky brushwork art style, even using the brushes, the celestial brushes, as ways to attack and interact with the environment was just top notch. So that one, I really liked it. Frog Detective isn't easy. I loved it. It made me laugh so much. I cannot wait to play Frog Detective 2. Gardens Between, I liked. That was fun. It was really interesting puzzles. Pokemon Sword. Oh, I don't know. It's either I played it or it's over now. It was very weird. I liked it to start with, but then it became, I played it and then it became a little bit of a chore by the end of it. We'll say I played it. Mario Tennis Aces is, I played it. That was the campaign in the tennis. Final Fantasy VII, I loved it. I loved it so much. The remake was so good. I had no worries going into it because I played the demo at PAX, which was to alleviate my little concerns about the combat, and I thought the combat was amazing. Tifa is a babe, Reno is a babe, and Cloud's clouding away. I like the way that they changed the story. Seeing Sephiroth in it was absolutely fucking terrifying every time he turned up. I think there's a lot of intrigue. I can't wait to see where they take the story next. I think all I'm nervous about now is whether they can maintain how good it was. Portal Stories Mel, I liked it. I've never played a mod or anything like that before, so playing something that non-professional game devs created in an engine and a game that wasn't theirs just was a really cool experience to do, and I think having that as my first experience of that was wonderful, and I'm glad that you all suggested for me to play it and joined me for that journey. Dishonored 2 is another situation like Hollow Knight. I think I actually put that game down for 2 years or more than 2 years before I picked it up and finished it. I was only about halfway through. I thought I was really close to the end, which is why I was like, you can do it, 2020, we can finish Dishonored. And then I still had so long to go. And I think I look back on it more fondly now. I don't know if I was in a bad headspace when I was playing it earlier, because the later chapters were really fun. The time traveling element was really cool, and it could just be that I'm really bad at the game that kind of my experience of it, because I try to play low chaos but I'm not great at hiding bodies. So I don't know whether I put that in I liked it or I played it, because it was very much an it's over now as well. But then I'm also kind of excited to play Death of the Outsider this year, so maybe it's more of a I played it. Super Mario Odyssey I loved. It was just so full of wonder and excitement, and it felt like it was just stroking my imagination. I shouldn't do weird hand movements like that when I say that. I just felt like I was constantly being amazed. I got to be a T-Rex, I got to be a chomp. There were bits where you walked into pipes and then it was 8 bit and then you could go around the corner because it was still actually 3D, and it was amazing. Top tier Nintendo game, that one. Jackrabbit, I liked it. That was fun. The Last Guardian made me cry. It's janky as hell. The colors are really washed out, but somehow it's still kind of big and open and beautiful. It's occasionally frustrating. Honestly, I don't know how it made me feel so strongly about the connection between the boy and Trico, and maybe that's the core of the game, is that relationship is so organic and I care so much, and I absolutely cried my heart out. There's a moment when the boy is knocked unconscious and Trico like picks him up and takes him outside and he drops him in a puddle to try and wake him up, and I just started crying really, really badly because I couldn't deal with the thought that the boy was only unconscious, he wasn't dead, and with Trico trying to help him, he was going to drown him in this puddle, and I was crying so badly. And when he woke up, I was just like, oh thank God, oh it's okay. I think I'll really strongly remember that for a really long time. So I think I'll put that in. I really liked it. It's got so many flaws, but I really liked it. Stanley Parable, I liked. It made me laugh. And I'm really sorry because quite a few people asked if I was going to continue playing it, and I said no because I wanted to play it in my own time, and then I was kind of really slack and didn't do that, so I'm sorry. Maybe we can stream it. Paper Mario, the Origami King, I really liked. Paper Mario, the original, is probably my favorite game of all time. Unless that's Final Fantasy X. That's a crisis for another day. And I honestly felt like this seemed a little bit like a return to how the original one felt for me. I haven't played too many more in the series, but I do have Super Paper Mario, and I remember that one didn't tickle me that much, but I think I also need to return to it and try it again. I understand the concept that Nintendo was going for, like it's paper and it's actually really paper this time, hence the origami, and the enemies were the scissors and things, which I thought was a little lame, but I think made sense conceptually. The battle system was deceivingly complex. I think I prefer the turn-based from the original, but I thought this was an interesting with the circle grids and lining enemies up. I thought it was interesting and challenging enough, but man did that do my head in sometimes. So I'm gonna give that, I really liked it. I really liked it. Emily is away. Ooh, where do I want to go on that? I played it. I feel like I played it. I think I liked the feeling of nostalgia, but the story and relationship in it is not one that I enjoy. It put me in a weird position as a player because obviously I was not playing the way the character was written. I was happy to let Emily go at the end. I don't think the character actually was. I still want to play Emily's Away too, but overall, I think there was just that slight disconnect. God of War is an easy, I loved it. Like that whole game is perfect. Actually, there is one thing, I'm gonna put it up there, but there is one thing about God of War that I didn't like, and it's totally my fault. It's Sigrun. I was having a really grumpy day the day that I went to fight Sigrun, and I had it all up in my head, like I was in the Valkyrie costume, like I wasn't decked out at all the way you probably should be to fight Sigrun. I just thought it was poetic to defeat all the Valkyries and then wear the Valkyrie gear and then kick her ass, because the Valkyries, I didn't have any trouble with them. Sigrun, on the other hand, what a bitch. I think I only gave it 5 shots. I was consistently getting her down to like 1 centimeter, maybe 2 if it was a bad run on her health bar, so I was actually doing okay. But for whatever reason, I was pissed off that day, and I put the game away. I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm not playing any more God of War. And I ended up actually just knocking the difficulty down to easy, and then I beat her first shot, so she was too easy on easy. I robbed myself of that satisfaction of beating her, and I kind of regret that. PHEW, I liked it, it was cute. I liked the colors, I liked the art style, the puzzles are cool, they go back and forth between like stationary puzzles and kind of momentum running puzzles. It was short, it was a time. Florence I really liked, that's an easy one. Uncharted 4. I liked it. Uncharted is a weird series for me because it feels so much like Tomb Raider, because I played Tomb Raider first, the reboot, and I honestly think Tomb Raider was trying to make itself like Uncharted, and I think that was the wrong decision for them because Nathan Drake's like this weird mass murderer and no one ever kind of addresses that. But I liked the climbing mechanics and things like that. I liked the stealth. I loved the Crash Bandicoot moments in it. I was so shocked when I actually got to play the game. I love it when games do that. Like they go, oh, play the thing, and then it's like, play the thing. Super cool. The ending, I liked that they gave it up. I liked the story of the struggle of him letting go of something that has been a big part of his life. And also we finished with the Crash Bandicoot and their daughter, and then they're like cool hip parents. It was pretty cool. I liked it. The Wolf Among Us, I liked that too. That one's pretty easy to put away. I think it was a really good introduction to Telltale games, but it also in no way made me keen to play The Walking Dead or anything like that. I think The Wolf Among Us, not that I'm familiar with the IP at all, but I like kind of dark fairy tale kind of stuff. The interpretation of the older story, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Kirby and the Rainbow Paintbrush, it's over now. Oh my god. I think that one would have been better as a DS game. I literally only played it on the gamepad for the Wii U, which doesn't seem like the intention for how you're supposed to play it, but the drawing was really difficult. But then I really enjoyed the art style, I liked the music, I loved the sound effects in Kirby, and some of the levels were actually really cool. Some of the vehicles that you turn into were also really fun, but it's also like, it's done. I finished it. Stories Untold, I really liked. We streamed that for Halloween and that was really fun, actually having people in the stream and we're all having fun and having theories together. The car crash plotline though, I feel weird saying what a twist because it's such a normal thing. Like, what a weird normal thing to have as your big twist reveal in a horror game. But that's also so interesting to me. Instead of it being supernatural, instead of it being weird and otherworldly or an actual horror element, it was just the horrific reality of a car crash and how someone deals with the aftermath of that. Very clever. And I also really want to play Observation, which is by the same devs. I don't know how I feel about NieR Automata. I liked it. At some points I really liked it. And then other points it was a chore. I think it's very clever storytelling. I think the world is way too grey and overexposed. I think sometimes I wasn't patient enough for it, and then other times I think the game was deliberately annoying. I was almost constantly underleveled for it. There was at least one optional boss who I did not have to fight, and I got myself into a battle with him, and I think it was like an hour and a half to beat him. And then I found out I was like 25 levels lower than he was. And I was like, oh, that's why it was hard, because I was only doing 1 damage at a time. I spent a lot of time confused by the story as well. And I spent a lot of time outside of the game discussing the game with my husband because he'd just finished it before me. And I was basically throwing all my theories as I was playing the game at him to kind of get feedback on whether he thought I was understanding it correctly, because I spent so much being like, what is going on? It's so weird. I also think the internet's, oh, you have to play it like 5 times to actually understand and finish the game, is so bullshit and such a misguided rhetoric on how the game works, because you don't have to play through the game 5 times completely to play it. That's wrong. And thinking that I would have to do like 5 full playthroughs of an RPG to like get the game, that was a turn-off. I didn't want to play that. I wanted to play a whole game. I didn't want to have to do 50 hours and then 50 hours and then 50 hours. I don't know why the internet insists on saying it like that, because it's actually not true. You have multiple endings, but your playthrough across those endings is different. You don't just play 100% of the same game 5 times. That's not how it works. I absolutely loved the ending. The bullet hell game in the credits was really fun. My husband was watching me do it and he was going like, he was worried that I was being too good at it. And he was kind of like, you don't have to stress if you get shot, it's okay. And I was there like, I'm never gonna die. But I did eventually hit a point in the credits where I couldn't get past it. And then it's like, it feels weird to say this, the best part of the game was the credits, where suddenly it's like I died and this note came up saying like, don't worry, you can do this. And it's like, okay. And then I died again. And then there was 2 notes saying different things. I had trouble, but persevere kind of thing. And I'm getting a bit chills now because there were 2 messages and then it happened a 3rd time. And then I was like, do you want to ask for help? And oh my gosh, I'm getting like the hair raising on my arms right now, because right before it asked, I was like, these are real people, aren't they? Because previously we'd seen in the game that if you die, you can leave a message, which I died once, so I did actually get to leave a message, and that was really fun. And knowing that other people had left these messages to encourage you to push through like this absolutely horrendous bullet hell game was so encouraging. Like, it was so supportive. And then when you ask for help, it asks, do you want help? And you're like, yeah, I want help. And then all the music gets all these voices in it, and you get all these ships and all these people join you. And I cannot believe, like, I'm getting chills thinking about it now, because it was absolutely amazing. And you make it through, and then it asks you, do you want to help other people? And to do that, you have to erase your save. And that's so conflicting, because for me as a player, I like my saves to sit there in case I ever return to a game. I think I was just so heartwarmed, I was so emotional after having to ask for help and receive it. I wanted to give back, so I actually did choose to erase my save, which still makes me feel like nervous and stressed. But knowing that my message and that my ship can help someone else get through, and that they could feel that sort of uplift, amazing. I hope I get to help someone one day in NieR Automata. And with all that talking, I haven't decided where I want to put it, because it's over now, but I liked it, and then I really didn't like it as well. I'd say if you can get to the end, I really liked it. And I'm also quite interested in NieR Replicant now. Concrete Genie isn't easy. I loved it. The painting mechanics in it are gorgeous. It has a bullying storyline, which hit me in the feels because I got bullied in high school and it wasn't fun. Honestly, I cannot get past the painting. Like, if you have a PlayStation, please play this game to try the painting, because the programming in it is so clever. Everything looks amazing. I felt so creative from start to finish, making these beautiful, beautiful landscapes across the city. I was worried going into it that I'd feel inadequate or something, but it really empowers you and gives you suggestions and wants you to try new things, and it was really, it was great. I loved it. Celeste was hard. I didn't 100% it. I got to the end, I got to the top of the mountain and let out a big sigh of relief that it was over. But then the journey was also really great. It kind of gave me Hollow Knight flashbacks of, oh God, I just want to put this down and never play it again. But I never actually did put the game down. I solidly played it through, because I think the checkpointing system, kind of each scene, worked really well. You only had to get through this part perfect once, just once. So that was a little more tolerable, I suppose. I thought the music was really great. I liked the voice acting. I did think it was a really weird mix of art styles, because you had illustration, you had pixel art, and then it was 3D for the overworld. It didn't quite feel matched to me, but the gameplay itself was really great. So I'll put that in. I liked it. Bastion, I think, suffers from, I should have played it like 5 years ago or something. I loved the voiceover. I liked that he was reactive. I thought the art style was really cute, so I appreciate it, but I think I would have appreciated it more if I played it earlier. Dance Central, it's over now. We spent 8 months or whatever in lockdown where we couldn't leave our house and I couldn't go to the gym and I couldn't go to sport. So every weekday at 6:30 I've got up and played Dance Central, and I got 5 stars on hard on all of the songs, and I'm now doing it in Dance Central too. Projection, First Light, I liked it. Again, it's got janky controls every now and again, but art style, cute, story, actually really liked that. I liked that it drew on different stories across different cultures, and it also has a little warm place in my heart because it's the first game I ever played at a PAX, I'm pretty sure, and it's nice to actually have played the full game now because back at PAX it was just a demo and they hadn't finished. Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, I liked it. It's one of those RPG Mario & Luigi games. I've played Bowser's Inside Story before and I really liked that one. This one I think is the first in the series that's ever been made. I think it's a totally fine game. I think the puzzles are fun, Mario and Luigi are fun, the story was fine. I like the turn-based combat in it. I wish that Nintendo didn't go so hard on bagging out Luigi though. Like, it's Mario and Luigi. You don't have to shit on Luigi all the time. He's actually also the better brother, so cut him some slack. And now that I'm talking about it, I feel like maybe I'm more of a played it, because I feel like Bowser's Inside Story I liked more. So we'll put this one as an I played it. Shadow of the Colossus was so cool. So cool. It was strange as a game to play as well because it's so big and it's so empty and there's just nothing. It felt so different to anything else. And going into the boss fights, I think I always went into them with anticipation after the first one where it shows you what's going on, and then when you're starting the fights for each new boss after that, it was always like, oh, what now? What cool big like epic thing are they going to do? It did have its moments of frustration, the same as The Last Guardian did, and the kind of clunkiness did actually frustrate me a lot for the last boss. When you're climbing up that tower, it was just kind of annoying enough that it was starting to grate me that this last boss was just like, can you just hurry up and be done, please? I feel like newer games have taken notes from Shadow of the Colossus because obviously it's a PS2 game originally, and I feel like if I'd played it as a PlayStation 2 game, it would have blown my mind so much more than how I feel about it now. And I think I'm gonna put it as a, like, I really liked it. I liked it more than Last Guardian, which I've also put as an I really liked it. Maybe I only liked Last Guardian. Maybe I liked them both, but we'll put Shadow of the Colossus like more. My last game that I finished for the year, I actually took it home with me on the Switch so that I could finish it because I was pretty determined to finish just one more game before the end of the year, was the Adventure Pals. I think the Adventure Pals, I'm going to put it as an I played it. I think the Adventure Pals just is. It's a fun adventure. It's stupid. Your dad gets turned into a hot dog and you have to go and save him, but you have a pet rock and a giraffe in your backpack, and I liked that. I thought that was really cute and funny. It looks kind of like Adventure Time, which isn't a plus for me. One of my biggest gripes in the game though was the text was so tiny, and I was playing it here and I still couldn't see it, and you put it on the TV and it's no bigger, and there's no way to make the text bigger either. But it was fun. It was fun to play and it was kind of a really nice end. Oh, that was so many games and I played so many good ones. I'm actually really happy with what I played last year. So I guess I'd love to know what you think, where you would rank things. I'm saying that with like a degree of apprehension because don't hate me because I didn't like something enough. So don't yell at me too much in the comments, or maybe just yell like, hey Kim, you're actually really right about this. If you're new to this channel, I also put up Let's Plays every Wednesday. If you want to hang out some more for that, hit subscribe and I will see you soon. Bye!